Hello everybody, I'm Carl Fisk from Exist Kind, and I'm here in Flagstaff. And the Bureau of Land Management has invited the public to observe and adopt wild horses and burros. So we've come to check it out. So let's find out about what this is and how it affects us. So come on, let's go.
Hi, I'm Beth Freniere from Exist Kind, and I'm here in Flagstaff today for the Bureau of Land Management's wild horse and burro adoption. And with me is...
I'm Roger Euler with the Arizona State Office, Bureau of Land Management.
And we're going to find out a little bit about how this adoption program works. So to start with, I would just like to know, what is the program all about and how does it work?
What the program is, we go out and when we have too many either horses or burros on the range, we'll go ahead and gather those and bring them into a facility. We'll go ahead and get them all ready for adoption. Basically what we do, they'll get all of their 5-way vaccination, also vaccinated for rabies. 30 days later we'll give them a booster on those vaccinations, deworm them, put a freeze mark on the left side of their neck that'll identify that individual horse for the rest of its life. And then we from those preparation facilities, we'll ship them throughout the lower 48 states of the U.S. For adoptions.
All right, and for somebody who might be a prospective adopter, what do you require of that person?
What we require, first of all, they need to have the proper facilities, and we get a lot of people ask about, well, I got 10 acres or I got 5 acres, and we kind of tell them, no, that's not part of the process. You need to have a corral or a pen that's about 20 foot by 20 foot. Give them 400 square foot. Have water, be able to pay for hay, and and take care of them. But depending on the age of the animal, if a horse is over 18 months or older, they need to be 6-foot high panels, because they will, if they can get their head over it, they're going to try to jump it, and then you got to go try to get them. And they are wild animals, so you need that. We ask them to bring a halter and a lead rope if they want them on. We've had some that don't like to put those on. We'll load them in their trailer and they can take them home. But the lead rope for somebody that's just got a pen that's 20 foot by 20 foot, after a bit, once the horse gets settled a little bit, that's the easiest way for you to get hold of it and start getting its confidence and getting up to it.
So that's kind of almost the opposite of what I would have thought originally, but for a wild horse, I guess that makes sense. You have to teach it to sort of stay in a spot before you can let it back out, in a bigger field. Yeah,
when the pastures, they've been running on the range lands out there throughout their whole lives, at least as old as they are, and so they've got two main instincts. One of them is to fight, the other one is to flight. And so if you got it turned out in the pasture, flight's going to take in, and they'll go through fences. Don't mean anything to them, and they'll run right through them because they can't see the wire.
Oh,
and
wow.
So that's the thing. So you need, you can't have any wire in your corrals. Barbed wire or even smooth wire. You can use chain link fence, but we highly recommend they put up sight boards, because the wires just doesn't show up to them. They're colorblind, they can't tell colors.
That's an excellent point.
When these people adopt them, they'll take them home and take care of them. Now, they're going to be responsible for keeping up all of their vaccinations. They are up to date on all of the vaccinations when we adopt them out, but then they will have to maintain that stuff, and deworming usually is every 2 months or so, just to make sure that you keep them clean, their guts clean. One of the first things that I tell them they need to do is start getting them calmed down and getting you used to picking their feet up, because in a corral, these horses been running, they got hard feet, but they still grow about 1/4 inch a month. And so, eventually what they're going to need, within the first 3-4 months, they're going to need to have those feet trimmed, because they're standing in soft dirt in the corral. So they, get that picked up, because otherwise then they're going to have to pay for a vet to come put it down so that the farrier can trim his feet. So there's things that that you really need to do with them, you know, if you don't want to ride it, you don't want to do anything with it, that's no problem to us. You still have to have it calm enough or tame enough that people can, you know, that the vet can come in and check it. She can deworm, you know, or you can deworm it, give them the shots and all of that stuff. But you don't have to train it to ride. Most people do. You know, I don't know how you get a horse if you aren't going to ride it. But you know, that's up to the adopter, and there's just been a few that I'm aware of that never really intended to ride them. All of this stuff over time, over a year's time, it's going to cost you more in the vet bills, the hay and feed, than you're going to get at any sale yard for the horse and stuff. And so that by giving it a year, and plus, if you got any kind of heart, you're going to fall in love with it anyway. So you wouldn't want to turn around and sell it. You know, and right now it's, you know, in the today's economy, you're not going to get anywhere near what they were 10 years ago for selling horses, because we just got a glut of them. Not only our wild horses, but a bunch of, you know, everybody all the breeders are still just breeding them like rabbits, and there's just not room for all of them right now.
So that year is kind of a probationary period, and then you check up on the people who have adopted. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. You know, there's several ways. Brand new adopters within 6 months, we'll give them a call and kind of see how it's going. If we get a complaint from anybody, we will pay a visit and check on it. We also have these computers are funny things, but they print out a list every year in October that says, all right, these are ones just to make sure that everybody's taking care of them that we'll have to do. And we'll give them a call and we're going to say, we need to do this inspection and compliance inspection and make sure everything's going on. Set up a time with them and we'll go out and check on the horse. But we get very few. We get a few complaints every now and then, but for the most part, we work with the adopter to correct whatever's wrong, to get everything fixed, and make sure that the horse is well taken care of. Our first concern is the horse, but our second concern is to keep that horse with the home that it's already started on.
Well, great. Those are some great details about the process. So how does the adoption program promote the maintenance of sustainable herds on the range?
On the range? Well, all of these animals were determined by all of our monitoring data and all of the data that we collect on a particular herd management area, what we call HMAs, to be in excess. By law, we can only remove excess animals from the range, and so we go through all of the process of determining what the capacity is. We have to fit in that there's deer, elk, antelope, whatever else, bighorn sheep. We have to take that in. If there's livestock grazing within that HMA, we have to take that into account. And so, we use all of that and we determine that there's an excess number of animals, then we'll schedule a removal and remove whatever's out there. So these are animals that eventually we're going to eat themselves out of house and home. And so that's why we had to go in and remove them. Otherwise, they have no natural predators, so they'll just continue to reproduce. They'll eat themselves and everything else, and eventually what'll happen, you won't have any wildlife, you won't have any livestock out there, you won't have any horses. And so, because the land just can't sustain an ever increasing population of one or more animals out there.
Right. I bet our viewers might not realize that the forage consumption of one horse is greater than a cow, and so that's why this is a problem. For example, where they share space with cattle. Let's see.